Hello, welcome to our presentation Sensitive Training, a method to develop empathy in educational environments, in charge of Adrian Alberto Arias and Chrystian Mauricio Pérez. According to Regulus Neves, teachers play a key role in the academic and cultural process, which has a goal in a main objective, the development of people who can live in a society with ability as doing, being, and knowing. It means, as a teacher, we have the ability to modify the behavior of different people in different stages and different ages. It is important to mention that people agree to avoid the rules in different scenarios. To take into account the Alcaldía Mayor de Bogotá, Instituto Distrital y Cultural de Turismo, in a research it says the porcentaje de personas que justifica desobedecer la ley cuando es la única manera de alcanzar los propios objetivos. For example, in Bogotá, 19.8% of people agree that they avoid rules in different scenarios if it means achieve their goals. In the context of the research, our population was formed by 22 students, 11 boys and 11 girls. We work with a focus group of 5 students between ages from 6 and 7 years old, and no one of them has a cognitive disability. And this is really important in order to mention the way we work and the method we try with them. Now, what is the research question? What is the influence of applying the sensitive trying method in the behavior of students from first B from Colegio Bilingüe Hispanoamericano? Our objectives were analyze the influence of the implementation of the sensitive training method has on the behavior of students in grade first B of the Colegio Bilingüe Hispanoamericano. Due to, it is really important to mention that we try to change the behavior of our students in order to be meaningful for the society, but it's the result of implying the method, the sensitive training method, but we need to analyze how they behave before the sensitive training applying and after applying this method. As a specific objectives, we have identify the behavior of students before and after, as I said, intervene using the sensitive training method in the population. As a final objective, we have describe the implementation of sensitive training method in a behavior of the population. This is really important due to our project was a qualitative scientific project. For this reason, it is really important to mention every single aspect that happened during the intervention with the sensitive training method. Now, talking about our conceptual framework, we are going to start by talking about the meaningful learning proposed by David Oswald in 1976. It means we are going to use what students know already, and in according to that we are going to start to, it means we use what the students knew already and we maximize the concept of their knowledge. For example, if they know some colors, after that we are going to use first what they know about colors, 1, 2, 3 colors, and then maximize the keywords that they can use according adjectives of different things. Continuing that way, we use what is the empathy they have with some students and how they behave with some mates in order the same way they can use it with other students. According to Piaget, life it's divided in different stages. In this case, we use the concrete operational stage, which the people can modify his behavior according to different instructions given by his teachers or his parents. In a third part, we use the communicative approach method proposed by Stephen Crusher that explains that according what we learn in a second language, it's not just about the use of language, it's about culture, it's about the behavior, it's about the real meaning of different words. In this way, we use the communicative approach to improve the behavior of our students according to different culture like the American culture, the England culture, about the empathy with other people, right? We use the operant conditioning tool proposed by Skinner in 1948, which we use different positive and negative stimulus according to his instructions for uh, reinforce what students did well and what they didn't. So in this way, we could in this way we could reinforce the good actions in order to amplificate for other students what they can do during classes and outside the classroom. But because it's really important that the sensitive training method, it's not just about the behavior of the students in the classroom. It impacts out the classroom too, even in their family lives. Why this method? Why did we use sensitive training? The sensitive training involves different steps that lead to change, such as create awareness and develop empathy for group work, improve group work, create a link between learning and the school environment. As I said before, sensitive training not impact only in the behavior in the classroom. It impacts too in the social life of students. It means create a real linking between what the students know, what they use, and what how they relate with other people. It's not just being a good student for good grades. It means being a good student for being a good person, for being useful for the society. According to Kurt Ledwin, the sensitive train method increased social and communication skills. It means, as a person, I learn to be good not only for my grades, it means to be good because I can achieve an agreement by expressing my emotion, by listening to others, by talk to them and make an agreement about something I want to fix. Sensitive training doesn't have step by step the unique method I can use. It means every researcher can do what they need according to the context, according to the population, according to what they want to modify in the behavior of other people by taking into account the different tools they can use. In this way, the second language as English and the cultural environment that they are going to develop.
Talking about the methodological design, it is quite important to talk that one of the most used research methods during these interventions they were about participatory action research, because we as teachers we were involved with the population, we were involved with the students, we have to take into account that we were working with a focus group of 5 students. So in our different interventions and also in our different classes, we have to take into account all the context, all the ideas from the different students. Uh, the idea of using the PAR method is because as teachers, we can be involved with our students and we can prepare our different lesson plans, our different classes, and our different activities in order to connect the subject, the students, and the empathy and the topic that we wanted to talk and also that we wanted to use during that week. Uh, as you can see, one thing that it is quite important according to False Borda is about the crucial and the importance to be synchronized and to have a link between all the context that the teachers, that the researchers want to do, and what kind of behavior they want to work with the students. Here we have the different instruments that were used during the different interventions. One, it was about the surveys, because at the beginning of the process, we as teachers, we prepared some different surveys with the students and also with the parents. And these surveys, they were presented at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. So the parents, they have the opportunity to tell and the opportunity to have an evidence to know if the students, if they have changed into their behaviors and in what kind of aspects do the students change into the behaviors. We also have as instrument the field diary, because the researchers, the teachers, we have the opportunity to share with our students not only during the different interventions, but also during the breaks, during another classes, during different activities that were done at the school. And during these diaries, we had the opportunity to notice and also the opportunity to do a process, an investigative process, uh, to know how much did the students change their behavior, how much did they behave into a different way, and if it was just related to the process of the sensitive training or also to the different classes and to the process that they have when they are growing. Another of the different instruments that were used, it was about the analysis of the behavior of the students, the analysis of the process, not only in the academic, but also in the social part, also how they were related, not only to the students, but to the parents, to the teachers, to the people that usually works at the school, and what kind of interaction they have. Later, we're going to be showing the matrix that we use, that we created in order to have a real evidence and a real impact to do the following process to what kind of behavior the students were presenting. There we have here what are the different steps that we have to take into account during the development of the project. As my partner had said, there are some steps that we have to take into account, such as identifying the problem, establish a lesson plan that solves the identified problem, because as teachers we know that we have to be teaching some different competence, but also according to the problem that we're identifying, we have to connect our lesson plan to that kind of behavior, to that kind of problems, in order to try to fix and to repair what is that specific behavioral problem that the students are presenting. Then we have to synchronize the plan and the problem with the main statement of the subject. As the classes were done in English, in social, in math, the idea is to connect those knowledge, those competence with the personal and with the emotion of the students. And to finish, it was about linking the topic learned with the class with the sensitive training method, with the sensitive training lesson, with what was the idea that we wanted to do, what kind of different results we were expecting to have, and we are going to do a contrast to what actually happened during the classes. Well, one, it was about their lesson plan, it was about the classes, that they were significant to the students, not only into the academic part, but also into the empathic part. Another one was to know how to approach the context, how to approach the subject, how to approach English and math to the student's behavior, to the student's reality. And the last one, the other result that we were expecting, it was about the development and how much did the student assimilate the process. Because the idea was that not only the student was able to remember, but also that it was able to apply, that it was able to show the competence, and that it was able to share with the classmates. Here we have the different correlation matrix. As we were talking into the analysis, one part to take into account, it was about asking to the other teachers about how they saw the student, asking to the other different people that we have into the school to know if they saw a change into the student or not, or what kind of changes they have. Here on this matrix, we have the date, the time, we have the topic that was about the class. For example, this one, it was an English class. And we have the topic for the English class and also the topic for the sensitive training. This one, it was the intervention number one. We did 16 different interventions with with the student, 16. So in each one of them, they were talking and we were working with different topics from the class, from English or math, and also different topics from the sensitive training. For instance, here on the number one, the teacher he could notice that according to the different Piaget's stages of development, to the different roles, were that the students that they were able to have a good interaction and to realize what are the roles or what are the characteristics of the two different genders that were presenting during class. Here we have another correlation matrix. This one, it was the number 9. Once again, you can see that we have the topic for the class and also the topic for the sensitive training. And on this one, we can notice how the feelings and the emotion of the students were work, how they have the chance to be working with this one and to be using it during the English lesson. As different conclusions, we have some advices and some results to the sensitive training method. For example, one of our main ideas, it was that according to Piaget, the concrete operation stage is the most indicated to reinforce good interpersonal relationships. One of the conclusions was about how building good relationships and what was the best process in order to improve the student development during the classes, not only into the academic part, but also into the social interaction that the student had with the classmate. And also that according to Krashen, creating a good environment between educators and students forms an atmosphere of trust and facilitate the teaching learning process. By using this process, the students, they felt relaxed, they felt with trust, not only with the teacher, but also with the classmate. So it was an easier environment that the students felt how they could do their different process in English and also into the academic part. Recommendation is to analyze in the long term the changes that the students had presented. This one is with the aim to know how much did the students change and also to know what kind of changes they presented and to know if if they are going to be into a long term, how much has changed during the school year, or maybe even to take into account different external factors that can be affecting this kind of process. And the last recommendation is to implement the method for a longer period of time in order to know if it has better results, because well, we know that growing is a long-term process, and the idea is that the more the students are exposed to this kind of method, the more they are going to feel and the more they are going to show different process into their academic and personal life. Uh, in order to finish, we want to say thank you to everyone that was watching to this video. Uh, my classmate and I, we want to say thank you so much for your attention, and that we do really hope that this one can be useful, that this experience can be even replied and used into another context.